Some of you guys out there may have been considering getting into doing online drum sessions. If you ever given that some thought, you might have what you need. If you're unsure about what you need, there's a video on my channel that details what you might need as far as your setup goes. But if you're at that stage now and you think you got everything, this video is more or less a follow-up for the other video. And this one is basically going to walk you through an online session. And I just want to give you some tips and, some information as far as how to go about doing a typical session. So I'm going to take you from the initial email right up to the final export of the tracks.
See it in my memory like a photograph. So clearly now.
All right, so the song clips that you've been hearing throughout this video is from a session that I did with a guy named Brian Weirmeyer, great songwriter. It's actually a friend of mine. And I still have all the emails from that session, so I just thought I would use that as an example. And the other reason too is that he's one of the few guys that I work with that actually sent me the final mix. So I just thought it'd be cool to let you guys hear some of it. So when you're dealing with your first client, there's just some things that you're going to want to know. The more detailed your client is with his email as far as how he wants that song done, the easier it's going to be for you, and the more likely it's going to be that you'll be able to give him what he needs in the first, 2 or 3 takes. So here in Brian's first email, he was pretty detailed. So this is the kind of stuff you're going to want to know. Tempo, obviously he gave me the tempo markings. Sometimes they will give you the track with the click. The click will either be right on the track itself, or sometimes they'll send you a separate MP3 of the track or the click track. Either way, that's up to you. You can ask for whatever you want. That'll help you record the tune. So the tempo marking is important, and he gave me some details as far as what he wants in the body of the song. So, I'm hearing the drums come in after the first chorus. I'll probably have acoustic guitar in the first chorus to add another layer. So he's pretty detailed as far as what he wanted. Second verse, I'm hearing ghosting kind of snare, breakdown in the bridge, blah, 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 blah. So this kind of email is what you're looking for. Like this gives me a lot to go with. And with an email like this, I can almost guarantee him that I'll be at least 75% close to what he wants, which is great. He also provided a song reference here. That always helps too. Like if you want to ask your customer if there are any songs that are close to the feel that he wants, that's always a cool thing. And he provided a MIDI drum, sort of scratch drum track along with his song, which is even like way better. So Brian's pretty detailed. And when you get information like this, it just makes everything go really smooth. So all you got to do from this point is download the track. And there it goes right there. And you can put it on your desktop or create a folder for it somewhere, just somewhere where it's easy to find. I normally just leave it in the downloads folder and just download it from there. All right, so the next thing you're going to do is just pull the track into your DAW, whatever you're using, Cubase, Pro Tools, Logic. I'm using Logic here. So I'm just going to open up a new session. I got a bunch of different templates here for different reasons, different setups or whatever. This is my main one, so I'm gonna just open that up. This tune is called Home Again. Save that. Now I have a track here, track 9. This is where I normally pull in the customer track. So I'm just gonna do that there. And there it is. Pull that in. Our tempo is 76, so I'm gonna change it down here to 76 BPM. And there it is. So once the track is in, what I normally do is I'll start getting some ideas down, play through the track a couple of times until I think I have a cool arrangement according to the instructions that he gave me anyway. So if he wasn't totally specific about the type of groove that he wanted or whatever, I'll just try different grooves out, or just to see what'll fit best with the tune. And then I'll do a few passes, a couple of dry runs, and then once I think I got something cool, then I'll lay down a take. All right, so you lay down a take, you got something down that you think is pretty hot. So now you want to send it to your customer so he can hear it. So what you're going to do now is send him an MP3 mix of what you just laid down. Just the raw tracks. You don't have to do anything to him. You just want to give him an idea of what you just laid down. So what you're going to do is go up here, and we're going to bounce it down to an MP3 file. So check that there. That's cool. So what I normally do is I'll just call it Home Again Drum Mix 1. And it's going to bounce all the tracks down to a stereo file. Just like that. And then we're just going to take this mix and we're going to email it back to the customer. So this is the email that I sent Brian to go with the first take that I sent him. It's always a good idea to just attach a little note and explain just a couple of the details, some of the decisions that you've made when you played the first track. So it just gives them an idea of what they're gonna be listening to when they check it out. So, I just let them know that this is naturally how I felt the take. And, went with a straight ahead Beatles kind of thing and verses and blah, blah, blah. So he's gonna listen out for these little changes that you're gonna put in there. So what'll happen from here is he'll listen to it, and he's going to get back to you with whatever changes he's going to want you to make, if any. Sometimes they'll take the first take if they think it's cool, and they might just ask you to do another one just for the sake of doing another one. A lot of guys like to have a couple of choices so they can take it and chop it up and comp it or whatever. Another thing to keep in mind, too, is that if you're dealing with international customers, time zones are obviously going to come into play. So you might not get an immediate response. If it's 8 o'clock p.m. where you are, it might be 2 o'clock in the morning somewhere else in the world. So sometimes you might not get a response until several hours later. So just keep that in mind when you're dealing with international customers. But yeah, that's pretty much it. You send it to him. He's going to check it out, and he'll get back to you with whatever changes you're going to make. And you just fire off another take, send it to him again, repeat the process, give him another note with what you did with the changes, and then this goes back and forth until he gives you the final okay. And then once he gets you the final okay, then we go on to the next step. So you got the final approval. The guy loves what you did. And he's giving you the go-ahead to wrap it up. So what you want to do now is export the actual session this time. And what you normally want to do from here is go into whatever FTP site you're using, whether it's Dropbox or Box, whatever file sharing website that you're using. I like Dropbox. I use that up here. So what I'll normally do is just create a folder with the customer's name on it, and I'm going to export the session. So I just go down here, export. I don't know. I haven't checked out the other DAWs yet. Like I haven't messed with Cubase or Pro Tools, but I'm pretty sure they all have the same options. This is normally what I do. So I just kind of export all these files into the folder that I created for the customer and send it to Dropbox. And you go in here and label the session, save as home again, final mix or whatever. And I want to save it to, and I actually have a folder for them right here, Weirmeyer songs. And I'm just going to save it to this file. I normally send it out as a WAV file, AIFF. It doesn't really, I don't think it makes a difference. I haven't had a customer ask me for a preference for that. So I just leave it at WAV, 24-bit, and just hit save. And it'll throw all of these files into that folder. So the next thing that you do after this, like once all of these files are saved into your customer's folder, that's when you're going to get back to him and arrange for your payment. So that's it. Your work is done. The only thing left now is to get paid. Now, depending on where you live, you have two options. I live in Canada, and up here we have this amazing system called Interact e-Transfer. And it's just the quickest and best way to get paid for anything, as far as I'm concerned. But if you guys are both living in Canada, then you can just use Interact e-Transfer. All he has to do is log in to his online banking, choose that option, put in your email address and a security word that you guys can both agree on, and then just send it to you. When you get it, just hit accept, boom, money's put right into your account. Takes like 2 seconds. International customers, you're going to use PayPal. They make it really easy now to pay over PayPal. It allows you to create an invoice. So, just if you don't already have a PayPal account, just go ahead and set one up. But go to the site, you'll see there's a section there where you can create an invoice. So all you have to do is fill out, the 2 or 3 lines worth of information and just send them the invoice. And then when they accept it, then they just pay it. Boom, money gets thrown into your PayPal account. The only downside to PayPal is that they take a fee out of your payment. So just keep that in mind when you choose that option. But other than that, that's it. It takes a couple of minutes, super quick and convenient. Once you get paid, then all you have to do is go back into your Dropbox or whatever file sharing thing that you're using and share the folder. That's it. Send him the link to the folder so he can have access to the tracks and he can download them. And that is the entire process of doing online drum sessions. The more versatile you are as a drummer, the more successful you're going to be at this thing. Like if you only play 1 or 2 styles, you might be limited as far as what type of work you can get, because you're going to get all kinds. You might get a guy asking you to do some gospel stuff. You might get a dude asking you for a rock track or pop or hip hop or whatever. So just make sure that you're able to stretch and that you're good at playing a bunch of different styles of music. So that's it, man. Now that you know how it's done, go ahead out there and make that money.
Let's go home again. Home again. Let's go home. We'll watch the clouds roll by. Even if it's over.